Hi, I'm Erin Spain. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how I built this DIY jewelry box. Before we get into today's tutorial, I do want to say I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel if you haven't already and click the bell to be notified of my future videos. I also want to say thank you and give a shout out to today's sponsor, Kreg. I'll be talking more about them later on in the video, and I'll also be sharing the Kreg Jig Micro, which is one of the tools that I used for this project. I will link to all the tools and materials that I used in the description box below. If you have any questions, please leave those in the comments, and let's get started.
I used my miter saw to cut my 1/2 inch thick plywood to the following dimensions. 2 pieces cut to 8 3/8 inches long by 5 inches wide for the top and bottom. 2 pieces cut to 9 3/8 inches long by 3.5 inches wide for the front and back of the bottom. 2 pieces cut to 5 inches long by 3.5 inches wide for the sides of the bottom. 2 pieces cut to 5 inches long by 2 inches wide for the sides of the top. Hopefully this is making sense and you're following along. And finally, 2 pieces cut to 9 3/8 inches long by 2 inches wide for the front and back of the top. I will put the entire cut list in the description box below. Next, I used my new Kreg Jig Micro to drill pocket holes. The Kreg Jig Micro is great for thin lumber like this. It creates smaller holes, and this was the first time I had ever used it. I love it. It's small and portable and really easy to use. You just adjust the collar on the drill bit that comes with it according to the thickness of the wood that you're working with, and you can also adjust the jig itself. By the way, big thank you to Kreg for sponsoring this video. I use their pocket hole jigs for almost all of my projects, and it's a brand I trust and love and have worked with for a very long time. Head over to kregtool.com to check out the Kreg Jig Micro along with all of their other tools, and I will add a link and some details to the description box below. As for the project, I drilled 2 pocket holes along each sides of my top and bottom pieces, which are the 8 3/8 inch by 5 inch pieces. Then I swapped out the drill bit with the driver bit that came with my Kreg Jig, and it was time to assemble the boxes. I attached the side pieces to the top and bottom pieces using 3/4 inch pocket hole screws. If your side pieces aren't snug enough when you're all done assembling, you can reinforce them with 1 inch brad nails, which I did, but apparently managed to not get footage of. I didn't attach the sides to each other with pocket hole screws because the space would have been too narrow to fit my drill, but if you're modifying the dimensions and building a bigger jewelry box, then you could do that. Next, I added edge banding to the exposed plywood edges to make them blend in more seamlessly. You just iron it on and the heat activates the glue. Then you can trim any excess with a utility knife and sand the edges smooth. This edge banding is also paintable and stainable. After that, it was time to patch with wood filler. I got a lot of tear out because apparently I need a sharper saw blade, so I used wood filler to patch and smooth that along with any nail holes or imperfections. And then after that, I sanded everything smooth. Always my least favorite task, but necessary. Next, I primed and painted the jewelry box. I used a Bear Marquee green color for the paint, but unfortunately I don't know the exact color because the label is no longer visible. But if and when I figure it out or color match it, I will add that to the description box below. I also used this color on my record player table and I really love it. It's kind of like an olive green or almost an army green. After I painted, I added the hardware, which I found on Amazon. It's just tiny little gold hinges and a gold latch, and these are specifically for jewelry boxes. For the hinges, I just measured 2 inches in from each side, and that's where I put them, but there's really no rhyme or reason to this. You can just kind of place them where you think they look best. I hot glued a mirror inside the lid of the jewelry box, but I couldn't find one that matched the exact dimensions. Then the last step is to add your jewelry inserts. I hot glued a loop of ribbon to the bottom of the top tray to make it easier to remove it, and I found these on Amazon and I will link to them also. And then that's it. I will link to a written tutorial on my blog in the description box, and if you have any questions for me, please leave those in the comments.
Thanks so much for watching. You can find me online at ErinSpain.com and on social media at ErinSpainBlog. Once again, I would love it if you would subscribe to this channel and click the bell to be notified of my future videos.
And now for the outtakes.
All right. Okay. Wait. Shoot. Before we get into, no, I haven't even said what I'm building. Okay. There has to be a better way to do this. if you haven't already, no, just kidding. Before we get started, oh wait. Well, try that again. Oops. Oh shit. Oh shoot. Okay.